Hello and welcome to our webcast for August 26, 2016. My name is Christian Debré and this is Amy Asbrook, the director of Toujours Vivant, Not Dead Yet.
Hello.
Toujours Vivant, Not Dead Yet is a non-religious organization by and for people with disabilities and our allies. Our goal is to inform, unify, and give voice to the disability rights opposition to assisted suicide, euthanasia, and other ending of life practices that discriminate against people with disabilities. Today's topics. CASP says medical aid in dying is not suicide. Something goes wrong. Okay. The second subject is Global TV Network's plan mini-series entitled Mary Kills People. And this is Amy Albert.
Thanks. Okay, CASP says medical aid in dying is not suicide. The Canadian Association for Suicide Prevention has put a controversial statement on its website regarding physician-assisted death. And CASP is the organization that unifies all suicide prevention public activities, public awareness throughout the country. They're the ones who work with Bell Canada, that's with their Bell Let's Talk campaign. They're the ones who are sort of out front with all the suicide prevention campaigning. So
it's really controversial.
Right, exactly.
Because they try to there is some kind of suicide and other kind of suicide.
Right.
When you go there, something bad happened.
Right. The statement reads in part, CASP would like to remind everyone that we are not speaking about suicide when we talk about physician-assisted death. And when I wrote to them, I said, we strongly disagree.
Yes, we strongly disagree. Because they tried to make a kind of suicide or not suicide.
Right, exactly. But our feeling is that suicide is suicide, whether or not a third person helps you. Suicide is suicide, regardless of who you are. It's the same thing.
The life of everybody is equal to any other life. It's a principle of Canada. And if you change it, it became very dangerous.
Right.
You will be the next.
Right. CASP justifies this statement with a document and infographic from the Centre for Suicide Prevention, which is affiliated with the Canadian Mental Health Association. The materials from the Centre for Suicide Prevention reflect the same inaccuracies and ignorance about assisted suicide as are circulated in the media at large. And those are the kind of things that happen because people don't understand about disability. They don't understand about disability discrimination. Everybody immediately thinks, oh, disability, of course somebody would want to die, that kind of thing.
So if you are ugly or if you are sick, you will be killed.
Right.
That's the way they want the society. That's not the way I want the society to rule.
Right. For example, the infographic states that while suicidal people do not actually want to die, they want the pain of living to end. And they think that's different from what it says. People who want assisted suicide, they claim, want to hasten death and want the suffering of dying to end.
What's the difference? This is the same.
Right.
But why to want to kill people for one and not to kill for the other?
Right, exactly. And this does not take into account that many people who ask for assisted suicide are not dying and are not in physical pain.
This is suicide.
Right, exactly. So they're basically saying, while some people are in pain and want the pain to end, the other people want to hasten death, but that's not true. It's people who ask for assisted suicide are also asking for their physical and existential pain to end.
Yeah, and there's many ways they are catch. There's no think and logical suicide. This is not the way life works.
Right. It's worrying that mental health and suicide prevention organizations are spreading this kind of false information about this important topic, especially this idea that it's rational for a disabled person or a person who's dying to want to kill themselves, whereas it's not rational for a non-disabled person to want to die. Just making that difference is not appropriate.
They just try to follow the line of government. They just passed the law, and they are afraid of their subvention, their money they get from the government.
The grants, yeah.
Yes, thank you for the word. Sorry, my English is poor, but whatever. This is not the way to do. They have a job to do, and the job is to fight against suicide. Any suicide.
Any suicide, any person. And they can't make distinctions between people who are dying and people who are not dying, people with or without disabilities.
Yeah, and the next day, it will be people will dying in a year, people will die in 5 years, and you will be the next.
Right, exactly. In fact, they're considering including people who have, whose only problem is psychological. And that would certainly include most people who are traditionally considered eligible for suicide prevention services.
Any depressed people.
Right, any depressed people would be considered eligible for assisted suicide.
This is logical. They are depressed, so kill them.
Right, that's the logic anyway. Toujours Vivant, Not Dead Yet, has written to the Canadian Association for Suicide Prevention to ask it to remove that quoted comment from its website. We will continue our outreach to the Center for Suicide Prevention to try to improve their understanding of suicide and disabled people as well. So I've written to both organizations. I've started a dialogue with the Canadian Association for Suicide Prevention. The Center for Suicide Prevention hasn't written back yet, but I'm working on it. We're trying to get that improved. And
if they understand, it's okay. And if they don't understand, we probably will do something. And it's not a menace, okay? Just the continuing of the democratic debate.
Right, exactly. Okay, our next topic is Global TV Network plans miniseries entitled Mary Kills People. The Global Television English Language Television Network has acquired the rights to a 6-part dramatic series entitled Mary Kills People that is now in production. So this isn't a documentary, it's a dramatic series, and it's about a person who kills people with assisted suicide. According to a July press release, the series follows Dr. Mary Harris, a single mother and emergency doctor by day, who also moonlights as an underground angel of death, helping terminally ill patients who want to die and slip away on their own terms. So far, Mary has managed to stay under the radar, but business is booming and her double life is getting complicated. When her world starts to unravel, Mary realizes she's going to have to fight dirty if she's going to stay in the killing game.
Yeah.
So this series is going to make her the hero. She's the hero, and she's the one that we're supposed to support and identify with. But she's killing people.
She's not a hero. She's an anti-hero.
Right, exactly. And we don't know if they're, we think that they're probably going to make the same mistakes as usual, confusing terminal illness with disability and all those other things. So this series is making this person who, in the series, she's doing things illegally, and yet we're supposed to think she's a hero. So it's
happened before, and they will fall in the same track that existing before, and we have to be against that and to make sure this is the Mary is a killer,
right,
not the good guy, the bad guy.
Right. If this series is anything like the usual media treatment of this issue, it will confuse the issue of disability and terminal illness. It will also miss the social, economic, historical, and discriminatory reasons behind assisted suicide, repeating the better dead than disabled message found in the recent film, Me Before You. So what we're afraid of is they're going to confuse something like multiple sclerosis, which is not a terminal illness. It's more of a chronic illness. People can have it for decades before they die. And they'll confuse that with something like cancer.
Like
right, Crohn's disease, or
the people when they shake what is the
Parkinson's
Parkinson could be very, very long sickness.
Right.
And they not always kill people. Most of the time people live very long with this sickness.
Right, exactly. And we're afraid that they're going to confuse those with terminal illnesses like cancer or heart disease. And so they're going to make people think that having multiple sclerosis is a terminal disease.
But if the society doesn't give you the way to transport yourself, to move, to do some normal things that people with disability do, you are catch and you are like in prison in some kind of long-term care home, and sometimes you have the choice between this prison and to be killed. This is not a free choice.
Right.
Some people will choose to die preferably than to go to prison.
Right.
This is logic, but this is not a choice that the society should give to those people.
Right.
Society should give the choice between now to die or not, if you have all the things normally you could get.
Right. If disabled people have everything that non-disabled people take for granted, then it might be a different story, but because of discrimination, we don't have all those things. So
and it's a long way to get that.
Right. We're also afraid that they might put that message that it's better to be dead than disabled, which is a very bad message. And that's another dangerous potential with this television series. Regardless of how the subject is treated, it's hard to imagine that the network would pay for a series about someone who encouraged lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender or First Nations people to kill themselves.
It will be riots in the street if they do that.
Right.
Why it's not happening when it's targeting disabled people?
Right, exactly. So why is it appropriate to have a dramatic series about killing disabled people, and it's not appropriate? And I agree, it's not appropriate to have a series about killing First Nations people. So I don't think it should be appropriate to have a series about killing disabled people. The Global Network, right. The Global Network does not have a great record of sensitivity on this issue. In 2012, it aired a segment on its 16:9 program about Annette Corriveau's public call to have her 2 disabled children killed. In that segment, Robert Latimer, the Saskatchewan farmer who was convicted of murdering his disabled daughter Tracy, was identified as a, quote, right to die advocate, unquote.
Okay, so every murderer is a right to die activist?
Right, exactly.
Is that they say?
Right, apparently. Following the complaint to the CRTC, Global re-aired the offending segment along with a debate on assisted suicide. The debate was not included with the online version of the segment. So there was a complaint to the CRTC about this segment. And so instead of improving the problem or getting rid of the problem, it made it worse.
Yeah, they made a statement that we should kill disabled people.
Right. Well,
basically what it is.
They didn't, yeah, and they're showing this woman who is asking to kill her disabled children. They showed it again, and then they just added a sort of debate about assisted suicide and saying, well, that's not what this woman's asking for, but what about assisted suicide? So finally, TVNDY has written to Global and its parent company, Chorus Entertainment, expressing our grave concerns over the series and suggesting it should not be aired. We'll keep you up to date on as the story develops.
I don't think they will not show it on air,
Right.
but at least they could do some effort to balance the system. You know, they could have some anti-euthanasia and assisted suicide talking after it and criticism. Or there's many other ways to do that.
Right, exactly.
But
they could have public service announcements against assisted suicide for people with disabilities.
Something like that. But do you think they will do that?
Probably not.
That's the point. And this is dangerous. Next time it will be you.
Right. Okay. There are a lot of reasons to oppose the legalization of assisted suicide and euthanasia, and here are just a few of them. First, because it's unnecessary. Everyone already has the option to commit suicide and to refuse medical care and even to have palliative sedation on demand. And so people don't need to have somebody else come and give them an injection. They can kill themselves or refuse medical care.
Yeah.
Also because it's discriminatory. While people without disabilities receive suicide prevention services if they express a wish to die, people with disabilities will be encouraged and insisted to kill themselves. Also, choice is an illusion because the choice to die cannot be free as long as people with disabilities don't have the choice in where and how to live. And if you don't have the choice where and how to live, how can you have a free choice to die?
There's no way.
And discrimination makes it impossible for people with disabilities to have that real free choice. And finally, safeguards don't work. Where these practices are legal, safeguards do not prevent people with disabilities from being wrongly killed.
There is now few countries who it's happening, and we know it will happen here too. We are not better than Belgium or
the Netherlands.
Netherlands people. We are the same.
Right, exactly. To view our videos, you can go to YouTube or to a search engine and put in the terms euthanasia and disability, and you should find our videos that way. For more information about the subjects that we discuss here, you can go to facebook.com/toujours vivant, not dead yet, all one word. Visit our website at tvndy.ca. You can email us at info@tv-ndy.ca, or you can follow us on Twitter @TVNDY. Thanks to Christian for helping out.
Thank you, Evie.
Thanks to you all for being there.
Take care.
Take care. Until next time.
Until next time. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.